Today.
What don't you like, Shirley? You take whatever you want. No, I don't think I came with it. I don't think it did. Somebody's butter. Yes, it's somebody's. Well, I have to put it in. Where's my butter? See more? He's got bread over there. He's got bread over there. Put it down. I made it real light. Oh, this and the damn butter. Oh, they wipe my hands. I don't blame you. Don't get yourself. I feel
Men, do you remember if the red light goes on when it's working or when it's off? I don't even know.
There's a red light on the outside of the camera with writing. I wouldn't.
I'm on now. The red light is moving.
To cheer for you, I'll have to settle for thinking about you and sending you
You're running.
lots
It's
of
running.
warm wishes.
Yeah.
I'm doing well these days, enjoying my new home and my job a lot. Give all the relations in Rochester my love, and especially a big hug for Aunt Lil. Have a wonderful birthday, Marilyn from Mill Valley, California.
Now it's running, right?
Wish you a very happy birthday, and happy that the year ahead brings all that means the most to you.
Stick around, guy.
Best wishes on your 90th
You to
birthday.
take some of these too.
Sincerely, Edna.
We'll share the responsibility.
Tipple.
Huh?
No one recruited me for this.
No one recruited me either. That's why I wanted to share the responsibility. I spend time with my family.
We have one here from Davis. I would like to congratulate you with a grand and special occasion. Happy birthday and many more.
It's just like Watergate.
Daniel Patrick Moynihan.
Well, sure. Have you used these before?
We have a note from
It's no problem.
Molly Rosberg.
Thank you very much.
In honor of your birthday, a contribution to the Jewish home. We have here a contribution to the Safra Medical Center Foundation from Dorothy and Howard Levy in the honor of your birthday. We have one gift to the Hadassah in honor of your 90th birthday, wishing you many more good years. Love, Hazel and Emil Gersten. We have here a telegram from Santa Barbara, California, the White House. Dear Mr. Silverstein, happy 90th birthday. I know you reflect with pride on the memory of your rich, full life, especially your service to our country and to the citizens of Rochester. I join your family and friends in wishing you Mazel Tov. God bless you. Sincerely, Ronald Reagan.
For the office, not for the... All right. And for the rest of the world. No, you're a Democrat. No, you're a Democrat now.
Very good.
How did you like that thing in the paper? I'm sure you have a million copies of it. Oh, isn't that great? Good article.
No, it's really big.
Oh.
We have another one here from, this is sort of anticlimactic. Dear Grandpa, happy birthday. I hope you and Aunt Lil are well and the party is very nice. Sorry not to be there, but I'll be thinking of you and love to everyone. Lots of love, Fred.
It's running until I push it again.
All the wonderful people that you have benefited, and God bless you.
So Uncle Ben made up his own version. Little month of February, we get our note from Vickers every year.
Oh, really? I never heard that. Remember when Benny used to pick us up at Sunday school and he had rolls in the car?
From the New York paper.
But who remember?
Then he used to tap dance in our voice.
I think Milton should be the first one to speak.
Be a tough act to follow, though.
I haven't even finished. But they tell the story about the last hanging that was done in Nashville, North Carolina, before capital punishment was abolished. I just told the story in the middle. I had the guy already with a noose around his neck and a black hood. He was up there at the gallows and they're just ready to spring the floor thing, you know, or he goes down. And suddenly the fire alarm rang. And in a little town like that in North Carolina, as soon as the fire alarm, every able-bodied citizen has to go fight the fire. So they all ran off, and here he is standing there. With a little, and so this town drunk comes by, and he looks at this guy, and the drunk says, "What are you doing?" And this criminal, a very fast thinker, you know, says, "Oh," he says, "I'm a stuntman in a movie. They brought me up here, and I just stand here, and they pay me $25 an hour." The drunk says, "Hey, that's really good money. I could buy a lot of liquor for that." I said, "Well, why don't you trade places? I'm getting tired. I would trade places." He says, "Okay." So he unlooses them, and they put the drunk up. The drunk goes up, and they tie him around it, and the criminal runs off. Just as the people come back from fighting the fire, ready for the hanging, and they don't know because the guy's got a hood over his head. So they spring the trapdoor, and the guy, the drunk, because he's thinner, does not hang, but he loses sort of half an ear and part of his nose, and he drops down there, and he says, "Hey," he says, "you Hollywood people, you can have these movies, you can get killed." Since I didn't prepare anything, I just went with the first thing.
Very good.
What do you remember about Joe when you met up?
No, this is not what this is not the first time that I've talked about Joe. I talked about Joe in public when I was 12, when I was 16. And everybody knows that he was my inspiration as far as doing anything in public life goes. That, you know, we were very lucky that we had this incredible family, and everybody had some distinction, but you know, to be a member of the Silverstein family in the greater community meant that you were related to Joe Silverstein. Everybody knew who Joe Silverstein was. And Joe Silverstein, they don't exist like that anymore in the culture of this country, because you ever hear of any people who go and grow up and spend all of their time that is not professional or business time just doing good for the community, not asking anything for themselves, not asking any money? Oh no, they got to go be investment bankers and lawyers and doctors and all that. But how many, I can't think of anybody who does, and Joe wasn't the only one, he was the best of them, but he wasn't the only one who just gave himself to help other people in a community way. So I'm not saying that they don't make them like that anymore, but I'm saying that it's not being done anymore. I hope that later on people will do it again, and I think Joe again will be an example because enough people know through the press and everything of what he's done. But again, it was to be a member of to be one of a large family And no, we didn't realize, we were having the second-generation Jewish experience in America. All we knew was that there was, Benny Levy, who was always funny.
And he provided bagels on Sunday morning when we went to
Seth
breakfast.
Rock was funny.
That's the only reason I went to Sunday school.
Me too. I got the bagels
There
on the
was
way
Lily,
home.
who was a woman of principle, and was a matter of no intellect, of course, but she was a woman of principle who, when people didn't do what was right, she told them right to their face, and she made sure that the principles were laid down even when they fired Karen Solomon. You remember that, Lily? She stood up there.
That was when I quit teaching. That was Sunday school. I forgot that.
Congregations are, social organizations. Sometimes big money people have it in for the rabbi or the cantor. Well, here they didn't think the cantor was sort of social enough. He was too interested in cantoring and religion. He wasn't interested in going to parties and bar mitzvahs and things. And so they voted in another guy. And now Lillian resigned and sent a letter to the rabbi, and she said that in doing that this congregation had failed to follow the principles by which she taught, which were biblical principles to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. That's what you wrote about.
So, I have great Rabbi Aaron. That's 3 cheers for Aaron Solomon. Hooray! Who?
He went on 4 cheers for Lily. He became a Rabbi Aaron Solomon after he left Sheffield.
Yes, he had his own congregation.
Yeah. What?
Great love and respect for Joseph E. Silverstein.
Regards to Uncle Joe. Margie was here a couple of weeks ago and visited with Uncle Joe and Aunt Lil. Had a very nice visit. And I'm very sorry that Harry and Elise and Jamie aren't here today. But they send their love to everybody. And we wish you many, many years of good health and happiness, Uncle Joe. We all love you.
Thank you very much.
Louder,
Oh, the trivia. This involves Howard. He's going to go duck under the table and tell you he doesn't remember. He wasn't always the person he is today. He was a kid, like I. And this goes back to '62. And they had a cellar. We didn't call it a basement. It was a cellar. It was dark, unfinished. There was a cold in. Okay.
Are you talking about 62?
Yeah. I
This
certainly.
is not 1962.
No, not
Yeah.
1962. Adele, there was a cellar.
I know there was a cellar, Helen. I lived there.
Of course you did. All right. Howard and I think we were reading Stevenson Poe, What the Heck's the Difference? It was very exciting to have buried treasure in that cellar. So we drew arrows and so this way to the buried treasure, and we had the whole darn cellar with chalk marks and arrows and whatever. The buried treasure turned out to be kegs of wine which the family was making. Howard and I turned the spigot and the wine. Right, all right. And Jenny came down and said, I give out. And she sent the disciplinarian. Did she send Aunt Stella? No. Did she send my mother? No. Did she send Aunt Lillian? No. Who did she send? The great disciplinarian, Joseph Elliott Abraham Silverstein. And Joseph Silverstein walked down the cellar steps, took one look at the wine flowing like Jordan River, and God bless you. From you I learned never be too hard on kids.
Howard, you have a response to that?
Never happened.
Howard, you should be allowed to respond.
It was Helen who did it, right?
Howard wasn't there.
Howard doesn't remember. He was
Helen.
there.
Who was making the wine?
And Jenny, the family.
Didn't you ever walk on the grapes when you were at Aunt Jenny's house? I used to walk on the grapes.
Adele and Jenny squeezed it with her hands.